Sports are back. The NFL draft, boys. Dun, 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 dun. It felt so good to watch something new and feel alive for a minute. And also, even like right now, we're in the studio. It's 12:30. It feels good to be in the studio at 12:30.
It does. It reminds us of the days of yore. That was a fun draft. It had a little bit of chaos, a little bit of technical difficulties. It had Jordan Love usurping Aaron Rodgers as a future of the Green Bay Packers, and we'll get to that. But overall, it was a fun night watching what as close to sports as we can get right now.
Yes, it was, and it did start off very chalk. So we'll kind of go through it, talk about what we liked, what we didn't like. First of all, the setup is very interesting. Obviously, we Trey Wingo explained it, but it didn't really hit me until we saw all the draft parties with like 4 people at it, and you're like, that's kind of sucks.
It was weird there. Yeah, a couple parties had like one sad balloon in the corner.
Yes.
That was weird because you can't go out to a party store. Those are closed. No one's talking about that. The general manager's setups that they had, the coaches' setups, some of them were much better than others. I think Mike Vrabel clearly won the night. In his room, he had a guy that looked like a mix between
all his sons, I think.
All his sons. One of his sons looked like a mix between the water boy Adam Sandler and Joe Dirt. The other was taking a shit, I believe.
He was sitting on a bar stool,
intentionally looking like he was taking a shit, in my professional opinion.
Correct.
And then another guy dressed up like Mr. Freeze.
Yes. The only other one that I had that was close to that,
and he looked like he was shitting out of his mouth. He was spitting so much dip. It was great.
The only other one I had close to that was Mike Zimmer, because Mike Zimmer was looking at a computer as if the computer was trying to rob him, and he also had a big cast iron logo in front of his fireplace that said Zimmer Ridge.
Oh, yeah.
And Zimmer Ridge sounds fucking sick.
What about our boy Cliff?
Oh, Cliff's
a party boy.
Glenny Balls on Twitter said it perfectly. He said it's literally Ryan Gosling's character from Crazy Stupid Love.
Okay, well, I was shocked that Zimmer or that Kingsbury didn't have a Peloton in that room. That looked like it was pulled directly from one of their commercials.
Cliff Kingsbury has a house that was sold to him by the hottest real estate agent in Arizona, and he not even hottest, I'm not talking even attractiveness. I'm saying the guy who everyone's like, you got to talk to this person. They brought him there. He was wowed by the fake grass in the backyard in the fucking fire pit that he probably has never even used, because it's the perfect house that's built for a bachelor but is 10,000 square feet. So it's actually built for a family of 9.
Yeah, he definitely went to his realtor. He was like, hey, I need a house that is going to be the easiest to clean off all the bodily fluids that will be spilled onto the ground. So I need marble floors and then a zero-scaped backyard.
So we started the draft. We had, obviously, our man, Joe Burrow, go number 1, which was great. We all expected it. By the way, did you see last night on SportsCenter, SVP had a montage? The Bengals have had 8 times in the history of the NFL draft the pick directly after them ending up being a Hall of Famer.
Oh, that's tough.
It's insane.
That's tough.
It's
insane. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
But Joe Burrow to the Bengals, we all expected it. Happy for him. I think that was no one really thought there was going to be any, even when they tried to make it a story, the Dolphins called about it. It's everyone knew the Bengals were going to just not fuck it up. So credit to the Bengals.
Well, that's good for my Washington R words too.
Yes.
If the pick after him ends up being a Hall of Famer, Chase Young is going to be great.
And I
do think Chase Young's going to be awesome.
He's going to be very good.
But yeah, Joe Burrow was a no-brainer pick. He actually went up on my big board today, higher than number 1, because he had his draft party catered by Buffalo Wild Wings, which is the happiest place on earth.
Nice. Oh, there's Zimmer Ridge right now.
Zimmer Ridge.
Look at it.
How many? So
Zimmer Ridge Ranch.
He's got 4 dead animals plastered to his wall.
Yeah.
And Jerry Jones is on a yacht.
Jerry Jones was in a hilarious, just in way too big white couch, which you just, he sits on that, and he probably just sits on it and yells at anyone who ever has brought a drink even close to it.
Yeah, Jerry Jones's yacht, it's like a boat filled with rooms. You remember those rooms that you had at your rich friend's house that you weren't allowed to go into? Usually it was to the right of the stairway that no one touched, that was pristine.
The sitting room.
The sitting room. Jerry Jones just has a full sitting room.
He's got a full house of sitting rooms.
Yeah, full house of sitting rooms. And also,
it's literally on his yacht.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's on his boat.
Okay, yeah, he's on his yacht.
Yeah, for sure.
It's nicer than any room in my house, anyone's house. All right, so we had Joe Burrow, and then it did go chalk to start, and I'm happy that Tua went to the Dolphins. One, because something about Tua is going to look awesome in that Dolphins colors, and they haven't had a quarterback in a long time, and except for Jay Cutler. And Tua, the smoke of Justin Herbert jumping Tua was making me so mad because Tua is so much better than Justin Herbert. No offense to Justin Herbert. He might end up being good, but Tua is out of control good.
Yeah.
And the gap between Joe Burrow and Tua is minuscule. The gap between Tua and Justin Herbert is massive. So credit to the Dolphins. They made the right choice there. I also loved Roger Goodell just, like, how long has he had to get this name right? 3 years? Ever since Tua won the national championship, and he ended up with Tua Tagovailoa or something like that.
Yeah, he butchered it big time.
And then my favorite thing that happened right after Tua got picked was ESPN had set up the QBs falling in the draft montage in case Tua did fall, and they're like, fuck it, let's just run it anyway. And they just ran like Johnny Manziel and Aaron Rodgers. Like, what are we doing here?
You got to get that green room shot of them just like sitting back with Bluetooth in their ears. It was
Tua's home that Nick Saban bought is
Tua's
unbelievable.
home looks awesome. He's gonna have to take a pay cut going to the NFL. People aren't talking about that, but yeah, his whole family's decked out in traditional Hawaiian gear. And Tua's got like 1 million family members that go to every single game.
Yes.
They're in that house somewhere.
Yeah, they absolutely
they're
are.
like they're outside, like right next to a two-way or a one-way mirror.
Mm-hmm.
They're just told, hey, we can't have you on camera during
By
this.
the way, Tua's living room coming up on this screen, I want to just mention this right now, and I've had this long time thought, and I'm just going to say that if you steal it from me, I will kill you. But Hank, remember when we talked about this? I want to create a coffee table book of athlete couches and chairs because they're always so big and look so comfortable because it's large men. It actually I first thought of it when we went to Spencer Hawes' house, and he has the largest.
Well, he has to. He's like 7.
Yeah, I know. He has the largest, but that's what I'm saying. Like, all these guys have the largest couches and the most luxurious chairs, all leather. And I think that it would be cool to basically do an entire book about, like, check out the biggest couches you can find.
This is where I want to sit down right now. Yeah, they do strike me as reminiscent of Doc Annal's couch. Mm-hmm. You remember that one?
Yeah, the fuck couch.
Yeah, just a room that's just a fucking.
So don't steal that idea. I'm going to do it sometime. I want to interview athletes in their home exclusively about their furniture in their living room.
And
nothing else.
Anytime you can have a living room where everything in there is wood grain, that's sweet too.
Right. It's literally the laziest idea of all time. I want to sit down with an athlete and be like, dude, this couch is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Tua's living room
End of interview.
It was 1,000,000% wood. It was like, build me a house out of a forest.
Well, it's probably Saban's like second house. It's probably his cabin.
It's the lake house that he can look across the lake at and keep an eye on him.
So Justin Herbert goes to the Chargers, and the poor Chargers couldn't even get enough fans for Roger Goodell's awkward little like, hey fans, get excited before every pick. Let's talk about Goodell for a second. Is he okay? Because
no, he was drunk.
How is he that bad at talking in his living room when all he had to do was like 2 lines every 10 minutes?
Well, yeah, I mean, he could do 2 lines of cocaine and be a lot better every 5 minutes because he was sluggish. He was not pronouncing words correctly. He was turning red in the face.
He gave the Raiders the 2020 draft.
Yeah, that's right. He gave the Raiders a 2020 draft instead of 2022. He changed clothes. He changed outfits to get more comfortable halfway through.
He did a TikTok with Jerry Jeudy, which cemented him as the whitest man in the world.
He tried to hug Cesar Ruiz through his television. Yes. He was like a dog that was.
That was when he took Molly.
Have you ever left your TV on for your dog and then Stella just starts barking when she sees a dog on there?
Yeah.
He saw a big dude, an offensive lineman getting drafted, and he's like, "This is the guy I got to give the bro hug to." So he walked directly into the TV.
Stella's actually too smart for that. She knows the
Leroy
TV is she's
not.
Like, that's not a real dog. She just barks at all the other real dogs that are everywhere.
Sometimes Leroy thinks my guitar's a dog. He's not smart, but I love him.
So, all right. So, yeah, Goodell, all time just awkward. Like, I'm trying to, I don't know what trying to sell you a 401k or like life insurance or something, and you're just like, dude, I don't know. Like, you're kind of weird about this.
I said he looked like a game show host because he was holding those NFL cards in front of him.
Yes.
He looked like a game show host where if you lose, you have to buy life insurance that's way too expensive that you don't need from him.
Right, and you walk out of the meeting and you're like, the things he was saying made sense, but something about him really creeps me out.
I think Roger Goodell is depressed because in the CBA they gave up his rights to go collect piss from everybody.
Yes.
That's like his hobby. That's like taking away that 1 week of fishing that Nick Saban does every year.
That's true. All right, so we have so Justin Herbert went, then we had a basically kept on going chalk. Mekhi Becton, shout out Mekhi Becton for being the first draftee to have some kind of physical performance that has nothing to do with football when he was pushing a truck up a hill.
He was pushing a truck that I presume his huge father was driving, and his huge father was riding the brakes too as he was pushing it. So I like that pick. He goes to the Jets, right?
He goes to the Jets, which Jets, good job.
Sam Darnold.
Protecting him.
If you want to protect Sam Darnold, get him a dental dam, though. Make him stop making out with 22-year-olds in Hoboken.
This is actually the draft where, like, I don't really see any moments where I'm like, wow, that was really stupid. Like, the Browns. Browns need to protect Baker Mayfield. The Browns got a offensive lineman from Alabama.
You're right. You know what?
It was smart how these teams, the Bucks had Tristan Wirfs, who jumped out of a pool, which was awesome. A huge dude from Iowa who's going to protect Tom Brady. Like, all these teams actually kind of made good picks, and then we have the Raiders just saying, fuck it, let's just be the Raiders and pick the fastest guy in the draft.
I think we called that last week. I think we said Al Davis's Ouija board was going to tell their draft room, their control room, to go ahead and pick Ruggs. I did like Jon Gruden's setup because he just had Deuce standing next to him, just lording over him.
Yes.
As much as Deuce can lord over somebody because he's like 5'4", but he looked jacked up. He looked swole. They had the grease board. The whiteboard was right behind Gruden with their big I don't actually think that was the order of people that they wanted to draft. I think that's Deuce's whiteboard.
Yes.
Where he has just like all the people that you could draft next to workouts that he has to do, like it's a CrossFit workout of the day.
Yes.
He's like, okay, so if we get 3 wide receivers off the board before 20, we have to do 50 burpees and then 40 hang cleans.
We should also mention this is an appropriate time to take more serious tone that every person who has been drafted has had a horrific tragedy in their life that we had to mention immediately after they had the greatest moment of their career.
Somewhere along the lines, the fun facts that we like turned into tragedies.
It was
weird.
There was a run there where Trey Wingo was like, and this young man, well, his father, his aunt, and his little sister all died. Mm-hmm. They're like, what?
The flow chart.
And they were reaching for some of them too. It was like he was named after his dad's friend who had leukemia. Like, they didn't have to say that.
Yeah.
I think they actually did. They did, like, set up a thing where they sent out a questionnaire to every first-round pick. And it's like, please put the most tragic thing that's happened to you here.
Yeah. Well, there's a flow chart. It's like, do you have a family tragedy? No. Can you jump out of a pool? No. Is there a video of you pushing a car? No. You better have told at least your first grade teacher that you were going to be a professional athlete one day.
Right.
And she told you no.
And if none of those things happen, then we'll just move on as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
But it was incredible. I feel like maybe that happens every year, but because every year
it was more heavy-handed this year.
What I think it is they had to fill more time because they don't get the instant player interviews as quick. Like, usually it's interview the guy right after. And, you get the scene and all the shots of, like, fans and stuff. This year, they just had to say, okay, well, how do we fill this time? I don't know. Maybe let's depress the fuck out of everyone?
Do you know anyone who's ever died?
Yes.
Have you killed anyone accidentally?
Yeah.
Actually, there was somebody who saved someone's life. I think it was a linebacker from Kenneth Murray. Kenneth Murray saved somebody's life when he was 12.
And then that person died?
Wait, he learned CPR when he was 12, and then somebody died around him, but then he brought them back.
Got it.
So essentially he's
Melisandre. And that person then the Game of Thrones stuff. You're so late. It's crazy.
I know. I love it.
PFT was like, let's do Mount Flushmore of Game of Thrones.
No.
Oh, is that Hank?
I didn't say that.
Hank. All right. Hank's back in. But yeah, then that person who he saved then went on to get hit by a car, that he was supposed to be in.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, he saved somebody's life, but that person went on to become a serial killer.
Yeah. It's it was very heavy-handed. So going down through
real quick, right off the top, Trey Wingo came in hot with some Anchorman references, some Wedding Crashers references.
Oh, and
crab cakes in football.
Well, how about Trey Wingo's greatest line of the entire night that made me think like, whoa, dude, you do need a bowl right now. When he was talking about Mekhi Becton and going to his tape, Trey Wingo said, if you love seeing someone abuse human beings, you'll love this.
Yeah.
Because who doesn't love seeing someone abuse human beings?
Yeah, it's a great catchphrase for the Cincinnati Bengals.
It's like, what are you doing, dude? But all right, so CeeDee Lamb to the Cowboys was a notable pick because I feel like he's the best wide receiver in the draft, and now we can have even more of the Cowboys are incredible, but they're going to finish 8-8.
And
they're going to score 1 million points, and everyone's going to be like, statistically, the greatest offense in the world. But they somehow only scored 14 points when they played, I name a shitty team.
The Redskins.
They scored 14 points against the Redskins, and they're going to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, it's the Des Bryant model that they've had for a while. And before that, it was T.O. They've always had like a primetime receiver, a really excellent player that you can't guard using one guy. And then they'll end up losing probably in Monday Night Football 30-31 against the Giants.
But even CeeDee Lamb, it's a good pick by the Cowboys because he shouldn't have been there. Like, he's so fucking good. CeeDee Lamb is so goddamn good.
This was also the most viral social media pick from the draft because there was a clip of the girl sitting next to him, like grabbing his phone out of his hand and him snatching it back and giving her the side eye.
Yes. But now CD, he came out because he saw that started to go viral, and he was like, "It's not what it looks like. You guys need to calm down."
Which
is probably exactly
him and
what
not
he
his
told
girlfriend.
her.
It's not what it looks like.
I just CD tweet this.
Yeah,
CD
you better
tweet this.
Dak just sent me the number for a bunch of hot chicks in Dallas.
No, babe, I was just looking up the present I was going to buy you with my signing bonus.
Yeah,
you can't look at that.
Dak invited me to his party next week, but said no girlfriends allowed. That's all it was.
It's just for the guys.
Yes, just for the guys.
No girls allowed and less than 10 people there.
Yes, exactly. All right, so then going through the rest of the draft, run on wide receivers was good, was interesting. And, of course, we got to get to our guy, Jordan Love, who's going to be on in a few minutes. Trouble in Paradise, because that feels like, now I know people will say I'm just trolling, but the Packers were in the NFC Championship game this year. You would think that a team that was that close to the Super Bowl, and they did get fucking smoked by the Niners, so you could say they weren't even that close to the Super Bowl. But if you wanted to say they were that close to the Super Bowl, you would say they should probably draft a position they can start right away.
Well,
no?
they absolutely needed a wide receiver. That's what the funniest part about this whole thing was, is the Packers, if you were to list their needs at that point, it was like, number one by far, we need a wide receiver. And instead of doing that, they took a quarterback
and traded up for him.
A direct shot at Aaron Rodgers. And we're going to get in some headlines with Jordan Love later about how SportsWriter is going to absolutely kill it using his last name. Brotherly Love is the headline in Green Bay tomorrow.
Yes. Jordan is the name of Aaron Rodgers' brother, so that's going to be weird that the closest Jordan in his life is now his backup quarterback.
Yes, and knowing the way that he treats brothers, too. It's great. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to handle this really well. He's not going to be immature about it.
Totally.
I think he's going to be a total professional. You know what? Aaron Rodgers is about to turn into the next Alex Smith. He's going to be the best mentor for his backups ever. No, none of this is happening. What's really going to happen, as an owner of the Packers, I feel like Aaron Rodgers might demand a trade. I feel like he's the kind of guy that is going to want to get out of town as soon as possible because this is going to be disrespect to him. Either that or he'll tell Danica, like, give him one of those crystals you got from Chernobyl. Tell him to put it in your pocket the whole time. He's going to, it would be funny. This would be the absolute funniest thing ever if Aaron Rodgers got traded to the Bears at some point. How great would that be?
Oh, it'd be so
amazing.
Funny. So funny.
He was on McAfee earlier in the night, and he said whoever he takes, he'll track down his number and welcome him to the team tonight. Do you think that happens?
Nope.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah, he probably prank called him a few times. He probably turned into one-man Jerky Boys. Tried to order 7
what is that
pizzas
text?
from him.
Pumped for you, man. You're going to love the Packers. I'll let you use my locker when I'm out of here.
Yep.
Tomorrow.
Or just like the Jim from The Office, just like welcome.
Now the problem
you are
is,
my backup, period.
The problem is as much as I'm making fun of this, there's obviously a better chance than not that somehow Jordan Love becomes a Hall of Famer and the Packers just have 50 years of Hall of Fame quarterbacks in a row.
And he wins a Super Bowl? One Super Bowl.
Fuck.
It would be great.
Happen.
You know what would be funny, though, if Aaron Rodgers reached out to Brett Favre to ask him for his advice on how to handle this situation.
This is going to suck so bad.
We'll
because
send the lady a picture of your
here,
tiny dick and then go to the Jets and Vikings.
I'm feeling good because I feel like, look, the Packers, like, they just basically squandered a first-round pick when they're in win-now mode, so I feel good. But then the sneaking thing in the back of my brain is like, yeah, Jordan Love's going to end up being a great quarterback, and this is all going to suck.
The thing is, and this is completely based on me watching maybe 10 highlight throws of his, which look great. He's got some of the best highlights out there for any college quarterback. I think He's going to be good. I think he's going to be really good.
One red flag is that he wasn't even the best Jay Love in his conference. The San Diego State quarterback was named like Justin Love or something, and he had better stats.
It's tough.
Good point.
Where'd he get drafted?
He didn't.
So you might say that actually he wasn't better than Jay Love.
Well, statistically speaking, he was.
So do you hate him already?
Yeah, I hate him.
All right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Unless he's like Deshaun Kaiser, then I love him. If he's Deshaun Kaiser,
if he's
then
bad,
he's the fucking
then
best.
he's your best friend,
Yeah.
recurring guest.
I fucking love
Jordan
that
Love.
guy. I think even Deshaun Kaiser beat the Bears. Fuck. So what else do we have for the first round? Then of course the Chiefs, who have an unreal team, get an unreal running back in Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and that's going to be. It's just scary when a team that good offensively adds another offensive player.
Playoff Clyde is what they called him in college.
Yeah, what's going to happen to playoff Damian?
I think it's playoff Clyde now. If you saw what he did to Clemson.
Yeah. Overall, pretty good draft, though. I really do think most teams did like what they should do. It didn't feel like a lot of teams reached or screwed up. Of course, the Eagles fans are very pissed about their pick.
They would be.
Yep. Which is, I feel like that's exactly, if Eagles fans aren't pissed about their pick, then it probably actually sucks, right? Like it's the total inverse. Like if they had taken Justin Jefferson and everyone was pumped, they'd be like, well, Justin Jefferson's not going to be a bust.
Right. They're still mad about drafting McNabb.
Right.
And he was awesome. So, I think what happened with the Seahawks? They got the linebacker, right? Pete Carroll did his thing earlier today where he tweeted out some weird, obscure movie clip. Oh, no, it was 1917.
Jordan Brooks from Texas Tech.
It was 1917. Pete Carroll likes to give out these clues before he drafts people. And this year it was 1917. So they're like, okay, it's someone who can run fast because there was a clip of the guy running across the landmines and stuff.
Oh.
So good job, Pete Carroll.
Wow, you got it.
Maybe it was a nod to DK Metcalf last year because they didn't make any cuts in that movie.
There it is. Yeah. So Brandon Ayuk was the 49ers. 49ers got a wide receiver, which they needed very badly as well. And they also got, like the 49ers, John Lynch is doing some good shit. Fuck, man. Because they traded a pick and then they just got a younger defensive lineman.
Here's the thing about John Lynch. He just looks super competent all the time.
Yes.
He looks like a guy that you would trust with stuff.
Square jaw.
It's a square jaw.
Men with square jaws can be just trusted a lot more.
And he's always like leaning forward. Just the body language makes me believe that whatever he's doing for all the right reasons and that he knows exactly, what he's going to get out of it.
It's a very underrated trait to have. Like, if you think like, oh, I want biceps or I want abs. No, if you have a sick jaw, life is just handed to you.
And even the way that he's going bald in a way that makes him look more aggressive.
Right.
Like he's giving himself a sharper point on his hair.
Right. And if you don't have a jaw, well, you got a lot to overcome.
Or grow a beard. We're dealing with some technical difficulties in the room here, much like you saw on ESPN tonight. Hank's mic's not working. He didn't know that we were talking about him. Sorry, Hank. I do want to call out my best friend, Darren Ravel. By the way.
What a fucking narc.
Darren, okay.
You suck, dude.
Earlier today, Darren Ravel actually shot up way, way higher in my own personal evaluation of a human being.
Why? Did he give you $10,000 cash?
Basically, he did even better than that. He tweeted out a picture of the football that they're going to use next year.
Okay.
And it looks fucking awesome.
Okay.
It looks sweet. Really, all they did was just change the gold shield on the football to a red, white, and blue shield. Okay. But still, it looks fucking awesome. So I was happy with Daryl earlier today. Then during the draft, he said the NFL put out strict guidelines to all draftees that they had to only have league-sponsored items around them and that there would be punishments if they didn't. The biggest violator, Sean Payton, he was drinking a Crush. Crush is made by Dr. Pepper, competitor of sponsor Pepsi. Coke is a competitor of sponsor Pepsi. There was also Coke on the table. Twizzlers is made by Hershey. Their sponsor is Mars. So Ravel just took an inventory like he was a backroom manager at a Circle K and listed every single thing that he had on the table. And the crazy thing is, I actually believe that Sean Payton knew exactly what the league sponsors were and went out and got all their direct competitors and put them there.
Absolutely he did.
But Daryl didn't have to say it.
What a jerk. What a fucking jerk. Oh, also shout out Mike McCarthy for placing his phone directly in front of his face. And that was pretty funny.
It was
like, what do you do with a fat face? Get your phone as close to possible.
It was right in front of his face and off at an angle. It looked like that Nathan For You picture where he's like, I'm out having a great time with all my friends. They're right outside the frame.
And he had that picture of him just smiling ear to ear.
Yeah.
like he had just won the lottery.
Mike McCarthy always looks like he's having a reaction to shellfish.
Yeah,
just like swelling up a little bit.
Yes, a little like he got stung by maybe like 3 or 4 bees.
Yeah.
In his backyard. Not enough to have to go to the hospital.
One Japanese hornet.
Yes, one Japanese hornet, as we know, very deadly Japanese hornets.